Hey everybody, if you're watching this video, it's because you've either just purchased one of these carbonsled.com mono suspensions, maybe they're mono flex, or you're thinking about it, or you need to make sure that your adjustments are right with the suspension in your sled. If you buy this for your custom application, you're going to have to set it up exactly the way they say. The distances eye to eye have to be bang on. If they're out, you might run into issues the first time you take this out and you compress the suspension fully. When I say issues, you might wreck it. So it's very simple to check everything, and it's important that you do this first. As they say in the instructions that are very thorough, immediate failure will occur. All right, so it's pretty easy to do. I've pulled this out of the IQR 800 mountain mod. I love this suspension, one of the nicest ones I've ever ridden. And you know what, I want to show you how exactly to do this. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to make sure that this is fully extended. You want to get all of the air out of this Fox float shock that comes with the kit. And to do that, all you do is you release or remove the little schrader valve in there and you compress it as much as you can. Push it down. Push down the front and the back. You get all the air out of there so it's easy and you're not fighting the pressure in the shock. So once you've done that, just pop this up. Now this is easiest when you have your buddies over, showing off your brand new suspension. You get them to do all the heavy, hard work and you do all the measuring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check the front first. Take a little block of wood, put it in front of the front arm, just in front of it. You don't need this out of your sled to do it. You can do it in the sled just for visual purposes. It's easier like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compress this front arm all the way till it comes in contact with these rubbers. Now with the front arm fully compressed, you look at the rear arm here and you want to check these measurements, the gap between this bottoming rubber and the cross shaft here, or the axle shaft you might call it. It can't be any less than 1/8 of an inch. It can't be any more than 2.5 inches. If you compress that and this rear arm hits first, that's a no-no. You don't want to do that. To fix that, all you do is you go into the little reactor area in here and you reduce the shim thickness in front of the cross bolt. So there's a little tiny shim in there. You need to reduce the thickness of that shim. They give you a pretty good assortment of shims, so you can just do that. It's very simple. Now to access your reactor blocks, which is really very integral to this whole suspension, you just remove this little cross bolt here, 15 millimeter. Pull it out. And you lower that. Pop off the little outside cover. You can do that on both sides if you want. And you just press out your blocks. Now what I've done, you can see this. You can barely see it. It says race. What we've done is we've set this suspension up two different ways. I've got the race block in there, so that keeps the front end down. I guess you'd say less transfer, which is a good thing. On a high horsepower sled, you want the front end to stay down. Keeps the skis maybe just off the ground. You don't want it coming up really high on you. You want to have your suspension set up for racing. But the type of hill climbing here that we do playing in the, on the power lines, you can't keep the front end down. You want it actually to pop up. You want to be able to give it some gas. You want it to come up. So I use a shorter little block in there. Whenever I need to do that, we just change the settings. It's a simple thing, even on the sled. Only takes a couple seconds to drop that block out, and then we're good to go. Put this back in. You don't adjust the limiter straps on the front. That's a no-no. They're set up exactly the way they're supposed to be. All right. Now I've fully extended that whole thing. Now on your sled, when the suspension's in it, you're just going to have your buddy put the block underneath the back. You're going to make sure that your track is loosened all the way. And when you're pushing down on the suspension onto this block, you want to make sure your buddy really forces this, either the front or the rear suspension onto the blocks. That's very important because there's a little bit of give in the blocks themselves. Now we're going to compress the rear and check out what happens at the front. So the rule with the front here is that you can't have any less than 1/8 of an inch or any more than 1 inch clearance or 1 inch clearance between the bumper and the front arm. And we're good. We're a little less than 3/4 of an inch. If the front arm comes in contact with these rubbers first, while you're pressing the rear axle down, you need to get in here into your reactor area and reduce the shim thickness behind the block or behind the little pivot there. And the rule of thumb is once you have this suspension set up for your sled, you can never add thicker shims. If you add thicker shims, that's when you're going to get your issue with this more or less binding up. That's not good. This is a beautiful suspension. You don't want to wreck it. So that's it. Very simple to do. Glad you guys stopped by here today. Now this is going back into the Polaris IQR 800 mountain mod. So a good starting point, just to sort of let you know, as far as setting up this rear shock goes, it depends on which one you're using. Set it up at about 100 PSI first, just to see. When we were running with this, because the back of the sled is so light and agile, we had it about 90 PSI and it worked out great. So that's it. That's all I have to show you. Very easy to do. This whole thing, you know, if it's a nice evening in the garage with your buddies, can take several hours because it's not just the suspension that's being tweaked. It's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, right? But it's fun. If you really want to get it done, this only takes several minutes. Very easy to do. Make sure you go check out carbonsled.com. Tell them Louis from PowerModz sent you. That's very important. They have some very interesting, cool products. You guys have no idea how much R&D they put into this kind of thing. This suspension is top of the line. I got to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you also come check out my new forum, www.powermodz.com/forum. Go in there, hang out with the guys, ask all kinds of questions. We have a lot of cool stuff going on. Thanks for watching.